Have you ever watched a championship team slowly dismantle itself piece by piece, trading away promising young talent because they can't afford to keep everyone happy? Well, buckle up, because that's exactly what we're witnessing with the Golden State Warriors right now, and it's both fascinating and heartbreaking to watch unfold. The Kuminga conundrum, a marriage nobody wants. Let's start with the elephant in the room, Jonathan Kuminga. Here's a 22-year-old forward with legitimate NBA potential, sitting in restricted free agency purgatory while his own team shops him around like a clearance item at a discount store. The harsh reality? Neither the Warriors nor Kuminga want to dance together next season, creating one of the most awkward basketball divorces we've seen in recent memory. The Warriors have been desperately trying to find Kuminga a new home through sign-and-trade deals. But here's where it gets interesting. And by interesting, I mean absolutely brutal for Golden State's front office. The Chicago Bulls showed interest early on. The Sacramento Kings kicked the tires. And now the Phoenix Suns have entered the conversation. But here's the kicker that'll make any Warriors fan's heart sink. According to Arizona Republic's Dwayne Rankin, the Suns are unlikely to land because they lack the draft capital and assets to deliver. Think about that for a moment. The Suns, a team that went all in on Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, are now so asset poor they can't even make a competitive offer for a young player. This isn't just bad news for Phoenix. It's a warning sign for every team that mortgages their future for aging superstars. The Suns are essentially windows shopping with empty pockets, admiring merchandise they can't afford while trying to rebuild from the ashes of their failed championship push. The defensive revolution. Why defense is a new black now? Let's pivot to something equally compelling. The sudden defensive awakening happening across the league, particularly with the Lakers and Warriors. Both franchises seem to have had the same revelation. In today's NBA, you can't just outscore everyone anymore. You need to actually stop people from scoring. Revolutionary concept, right? The Lakers have already made their move, signing Marcus Smart, a player whose defensive reputation precedes him like a freight train. Meanwhile, the Warriors are reportedly closing in on DeAnthony Melton and potentially Al Horford, signaling their commitment to shoring up their defensive identity. But here's where the plot thickens, and it involved a relatively unknown player who's suddenly become the belle of the ball. The Keon Ellis factor. Small name, big impact. Enter Keon Ellis, the 25-year-old Sacramento Kings guard who's averaging 1.5 steals per game while shooting an absolutely ridiculous 43.3% from three-point range. Those aren't typos, folks. This guy can defend at an elite level and space the floor. In today's NBA, that combination is more valuable than gold, and both the Lakers and Warriors have taken notice. But here's where Sacramento gets to flex their muscles. According to Forbes' Evan Sidery, the Kings have kept Ellis off limits in ongoing sign-and-trade negotiations involving Jonathan Kuminga. Translation: Sacramento values Ellis more than they value whatever Golden State is offering for their troubled young forward. That's got to sting for Warriors management, knowing that a player averaging 8.3 points per game is considered more valuable than their former lottery pick. The Lakers, meanwhile, are reportedly willing to package Gabe Vincent and a 2032 second-round pick for Ellis. Now, on paper, this looks like the Lakers are overpaying. Vincent's $11.5 million contract dwarfs Ellis' $2.3 million salary. But sometimes you have to overpay for exactly what you need, and defensive versatility with three-point shooting is exactly what contending teams crave. The strategic chess match, what makes the situation absolutely fascinating, is how it reveals each team's priorities and desperation levels. The Warriors are stuck in basketball purgatory, too good to tank, too flawed to seriously contend, and now potentially losing assets for nothing. They're like a poker player holding a mediocre hand, trying to bluff their way to a decent pot. The Lakers, fresh off their Marcus Smart signing, are doubling down on their defensive philosophy. Adding Ellis would give them two elite perimeter defenders, creating a defensive backcourt that could legitimately disrupt opposing offenses. But here's the million-dollar question. Do they really need another defensive-minded guard when they already have Smart? Sacramento, meanwhile, is in the enviable position of having something everyone wants but nobody can afford. Ellis represents exactly what modern NBA teams covet: youth, defensive ability, and three-point shooting. The Kings can afford to be picky because they hold all the cards. The bigger picture, Franchise philosophy in action, this entire saga illustrates the brutal realities of NBA roster construction in 2025. Teams can't just collect talent anymore. They need to make tough decisions about fit, timeline, and financial sustainability. The Warriors are learning this lesson the hard way with Kuminga, while the Suns are paying the price for their win-now mentality that didn't deliver a championship. The Lakers' pursuit of Ellis, despite already having Smart, shows how desperately they want to maximize their championship window with their aging core. Every move they make carries enormous weight because they know this might be their last realistic shot at a title. As for the Kings, they're in the unique position of being able to say no to everyone. Ellis isn't going anywhere unless someone makes an offer Sacramento simply can't refuse. And right now, nobody seems capable of meeting their asking price. The reality check here is what all of this tells us about the current state of the NBA. Talent evaluation has become incredibly sophisticated, but asset management remains brutally unforgiving. Teams that make poor decisions, whether it's the Suns' championship gamble or the Warriors' inability to develop internal chemistry, pay heavy prices that can last for years. The Warriors' Jonathan Kuminga situation should serve as a cautionary tale for every franchise. Sometimes the most talented player isn't the right fit, and sometimes the best move is the one that hurts the most in the short term. So what's your take on this defensive revolution sweeping through the league? Are teams finally realizing that championship basketball still requires stopping the other team from scoring? Or is this just another trend that'll fade when the next offensive innovation comes along? Drop your thoughts in the comment below, and let's get this conversation going. And if you found this breakdown as compelling as I did putting it together, smash that like button. And let me know what other NBA storylines you want to dive into next.